Hey everybody, welcome to the Behind the Brick podcast. And today we are here with GravityFilms4. How's it going today?
I'm doing pretty good.
All right, so what inspired you to start your Spider-Man series?
Well, it's just kind of been a character that I've always sort of had a interest in doing, and I actually had a series before my current one, um, and it was kind of just a ripoff of Spectacular Spider-Man. Like all the episodes are kind of just the same as those episodes, and so I wanted to do something that was a little bit more original. And kind of just expand, I guess, on like stories that everyone kind of knows, but like don't really get a whole lot of attention. That's why like the first season spends so much time with Uncle Ben because it's like everyone knows the origin, but we've
Yeah,
never really gotten to like spend a lot of time with Peter and Uncle Ben.
yeah, because like in the original comic, he showed up for two panels and died off screen.
Right. And like to a degree, I can agree that sometimes Uncle Ben gets like a little too much importance put on him, but like I still wanted to spend the time and like make you actually like the idea was like you actually care when Uncle Ben dies. Like he's not just a
Yeah,
throwaway character.
bro was not wasted. So, how did the MLU form and how did you guys meet?
So the MLU was founded by me, probably Josh, and Greenleaf Productions, and we have known each other since like 2020. I would have met them around the time of COVID, and we were Storm and I, or Greenleaf Productions and I, were working on Marvel projects. I was doing a Spider-Man series that was going to, or it was a Spider-Man project that was going to become Amazing Fantasy. It was a little bit different. And then he was working on his Iron Man film, and I think we were originally working with an entirely different Marvel universe that just I can't even really remember exactly why, but it kind of just like the leaders kind of were like, well, this isn't really working out, so we're just gonna like kind of can all of this. Like this is basically the universe kind of dissolved. And we were like, well, we think it'd be really good to like connect these projects, like because we had other ideas for other stuff we were gonna do. Um, and so we turned to Josh and we were just like, hey, you should lead a universe. Like if you led the universe, I think we would like it would go well. We could probably actually make it work because we had been in a bunch of universes that like had kind of fizzled out or just like never really seen much progress. So we wanted to like make something that actually kind of functioned properly. Um, and yeah, I mean the rest is just history. We got Iron Man, we got Spider Man, we got
The
uh
server?
oh yeah, and because the funny thing is, originally it was not meant to be like a big thing. I mean, it isn't really now, but like originally we were going to have the universe end when we got to the first Avengers film. Uh, but then we got Fine Line to come in, who we were also friends with. He came in and brought his Daredevil series into the universe. And then once that happened, we were kind of like, well, let's maybe not let's maybe let's not try and just end this. Like maybe we can actually build something with this.
Oh, interesting. What are your future plans for your Spider-Man series and how many seasons are you going to do for it?
So I know there's going to be at least 3 seasons. I would like to do four, but I don't quite know if I'll be able to do four. But the idea is at least 3 seasons, and then I have 2 films planned that will kind of. But the second film is like the actual finale to the show, or I guess to the series rather. But season 2 is going to be mainly focused on just sort of expanding the Spider-Man lore. I guess like uh, it's sort of a contrast to the first season. It's going to be very episodic. Like each episode, as we saw with episode 1, is going to be like kind of its own standalone adventure. Um, and not really to spoil episode two like too much, but the episode title is Brains, Beauty, and Lizard Monster, so you might be able to guess who's going to be the villain for that one. Um,
Yeah.
but it's going to be 8 episodes long, and we're going to do like a new villain in every in the first 6 episodes, and then the finale is a two-parter. And I don't want to spoil who that villain's going to be, but after that, I'm thinking season 3. I haven't decided what it is going to be just yet, but the idea is either it's going to be the symbiote saga or it's going to be the clone saga.
Ooh,
Whether those are a little up in the air at the moment.
interesting.
What inspired you to make your Suicide Squad video? Oh my god.
So me and Josh have kind of been we've been like pretty long time collaborators at this point, and about like 2 years ago we started working on a Suicide Squad pitch, and it was originally also for a different universe that wasn't the Lego DC Nation, which has now been moved over to the Lego DC universe. But we were working in the LDCN, and we had both joined for separate projects, me for Wonder Woman and Josh for Green Arrow, and then we were like, well, we're both here, maybe we could finally get this Suicide Squad project made. Only problem is that it kind of that film used a lot of like more mainstream characters like Harley Quinn and Captain Boomerang and Deadshot.
Yeah.
And a lot of those characters weren't set up in the universe at the time. So we were like, well, we could just do like a prequel, and we could just, use a whole different cast of characters. And pretty quickly, I think I came up with the idea of like, what if we did a Suicide Squad film where everybody dies, where there's no survivors? And that was like kind of the running premise. And so we were like, it was cool because then we were basically like, we have to get characters that are like cool, but like they can't be too like, we can't use Harley Quinn because we can't kill her off in her first appearance in the universe because she wants to show up in Batman or something.
And you had Sportsmaster on that team, played by Crisis, and not many people know who Sportsmaster is because he's normally in like Stargirl or Young Justice, but he's pretty underrated. So
I didn't know who he was.
Oh, he's like Tigress's wife, and also what's her name? I forgot her name. She was the Green Arrow of Young Justice.
Oh yeah. That's Artemis's father, right?
Yeah, Artemis. There you
go.
So it's pretty cool to see Sportsmaster on that team.
Yeah, I quite like Sportsmaster. He's a character that's like when we were making the roster for the team, we were just like scouring a bunch of like D-list and C and B and D-list villains, and he was kind of floating around on a lot of those lists.
Yeah.
Do you plan on introducing Gwen Stacy into your Spider-Man series at some point? And if you do, are you going to adapt, her death?
Okay, so eagle-eyed viewers might recognize that she was in season 1, and I really wish that I really wish that I hadn't done that, because the idea at the time was that she would have gone on to be the love interest, because the original idea for season 2 was that it was going to take place right after season 1, like it would have been just a few short weeks after episode 4. But I just kind of fell out of that idea. I got really bored with the high school setting. I wanted to shake it up, and really I wanted to do something that kind of allowed me to utilize more of this. Like, I didn't want to have to set up every villain, because so many of their origins are just so I don't really have much new to add to it. And she was originally going to play a big role in that second season. And then as I got more into this sort of new version of season 2, and it's inspired by a lot of different Spider-Man comics, and I was kind of just like, I really want to use MJ. So I don't know, maybe one day I'm going to go, I've thought of doing like a mini series that takes place in that sort of 5-year time gap, because a lot has happened. Like, there's several canon events that happen that we'll kind of learn more about later on in season 2, but maybe she'll kind of crop up in there. But we do have a sort of a Spider-Gwen series planned for the MLU that takes place in like an alternate universe, obviously. So Gwen Stacy, she'll get her due. She'll get some appearances, because this is a little fun fact. The idea originally was that in my series, Gwen Stacy would have become Spider-Gwen and would have been like Peter Parker's sidekick.
Nice.
Not bad, actually. What inspired you to start making stop motion videos?
Oh man, been doing it. I one time I tried to figure out for how long I've been doing it, and I can track my earliest animation to 2013, when I think it would have been like 9. um, and in the early days, it was definitely just like I watched a lot of. I had access to Forest Fire and like Keshinate. But I think probably in that like 2015, 2016 area, that's I think when I found Grassler Guy and Paradox Pictures. And I would say those two are probably the ones that like definitely influenced me the most to like actually start making videos. Because also definitely like Akash Lager Productions, his like Marvel series back in the day.
Yeah, for sure.
The Brick Ranger, all those big guys.
Yeah.
Because I've always just kind of had like a bunch of Legos lying around. That was something I got into when I was really young. And so I remember I was the first like app I ever downloaded on my iPad was, or one of the first apps was like it was actually a stop motion app that was official by Lego. It was called like the Lego Movie Maker app.
Oh, I think I remember that.
Yeah, I don't think it's like around anymore, but that was how I got my start.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Who is your favorite Spider-Man actor?
I do like Tom Holland. I think Andrew Garfield is probably the closest we've gotten to like just a straight comic book version of Peter Parker.
Yeah.
I'm a pretty big fan of Andrew Garfield, and I do also like Tom Holland. I'm like, I guess I'm kind of like a resident Raimi, not hater, but I don't really like Tobey Maguire all that much.
Yeah, he didn't have like any like anger, like outward anger towards the world for being like bullied for most of his life.
Yeah, I feel like Peter Parker's definitely got to kind of have that like asshole side of him. Like, I don't think you can really get around that. I don't think Tobey Maguire had that. I also think that Tobey Maguire doesn't really have too much of a the quipping stuff is hard because it can very easily get like annoying, but I don't think he has like a good balance of like he's not funny enough for me. I feel like Spider-Man's has to be kind of like funny.
Yeah, I think it's more like Toby makes puns whenever he like quips, because he makes a lot of like in Spider-Man 2 he made a lot of puns with like the bank and stuff.
Right.
Yeah, it's not really like quips like Andrew does. And Tom just doesn't have any of that. He's just, I don't know, he's just not as funny as either of them.
Yeah, I feel like Tom has a little bit more of a bumbling side to him.
Yeah. 12-year-old Spider-Man bumbling side.
Right.
Yeah.
What are your plans involving the future of the MLU? I know you talked about that Gwen Stacy, Spider-Gwen series earlier. Yeah,
so we're trying to take it slow, just sort of work one thing at a time. There's like a lot of projects in development and that we're working on. Obviously we've got like Spider-Man, Daredevil, Moon Knight is a mini series that's being made by Greenleaf Productions. The first episode of that came out a few days ago. And so sort of the idea with all these like little street level heroes is that they're going to eventually cross over. We have like we don't necessarily have like phases like the MCU, but I guess like we do kind of have like a goal, like that would be kind of the end point of, I guess, like the first phase. And we want to do a crossover called Marvel Knights, where all these street level heroes will kind of converge and do something. And then as for some of like the bigger heroes, Iron Man's getting a third film eventually. Captain America, Hulk, all these guys are slated to show up. We've got a Hawkeye project. The Fantastic Four are another team I really want to get something done for. Me and probably Josh have been trying to workshop a script for a film or a series or something for like the longest time.
Oh, cool.
Very interesting.
Who is your favorite brick filmer and why?
Well, I'm definitely biased because I like all of my friends are like people I really admire, like Greenleaf and Crisis Studios. JRay56 is like another like just kind of like I cannot fathom how he does the things that he does. I'm trying to think of like others I like. Nathaniel Henley is quickly someone that like I really admire his work. Yeah, I think I'll say Nathaniel Henley. I think he's really like he's just done some really crazy stuff in like a really short amount of time.
Yeah. Yeah, he's pretty good at what he does.
Yeah. I'm also always tuned into Grasser Guy whenever he uploads a video.
Oh yeah.
Sorry about that. What is your main source of inspiration when it comes to writing?
Recently it's been a lot of comic books. I've been trying to kind of bring like, especially with like Spider-Man, and we'll see it later with sort of Fantastic Four. I really just want to bring a very like sort of fun spirit to the stories that I'm trying to tell. Like I really want the world to feel lived in and sort of, is it like really make the characters very like distinct. Other shows that have like just like real shows that have inspired me and stuff like Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul. I really like the character dramas in that. I tend to find inspiration everywhere though. Like I said, I read comics, I watch movies, I watch TV shows. You never really know where inspiration is going to strike from. I'm also the type where like I watch something and I'm just like, oh my god, I like okay, I want to do a buddy cop film now. How do I make this? And so I constantly have like a different ideas bouncing off the walls and trying to come up with new stuff, more stuff than I can really handle, to be honest. Like, but I kind of find inspiration everywhere.
Yeah, I'm not so good with inspiration myself.
Yeah. Do you have any advice for those who are new to brick filming, and is there anything that you'd like to improve upon in your own videos?
As far as improving upon them in my own videos, I'm trying to work better on like cleaning up my animation. I was like especially in Suicide Squad, you go look in those fight scenes, which I'm very proud of, but there's always like a lot of tack in the joints, and I'm trying to like I'm trying to make everything look a little prettier. I recently switched over to a C920 webcam, and I'm not quite as used to lighting and framing shots with that as I was with the iPhone. So I'm still trying to improve visually. As for like advice to other people though, I would say just do your own thing. Like kind of find out what your strong suit is and work on that. I'm a big believer in that, if you have a fun story to tell, people will like, if you have a story that's interesting, people will, they'll sit and watch and listen if even if the animation's not the best. Because really you're gonna just over time, you're gonna naturally just improve on your animation. You're gonna take inspiration from others and improve upon your own craft. I know a lot of people get really into like the animation and wanting to make it look as clean as it can be, but I also think that it's not necessarily it shouldn't be the only thing you're worried about. I definitely spend a lot of time working on my writing as well as my animation. And then also just like, try and do something new. Like it's really hard because, there's 5 million Batman series out there. There's 5 million Spider-Man series out there. So you kind of got to find what works about those characters for you. Like you got to find something that you can really latch onto. For me, a lot of times that's finding different areas of the characters that don't really get explored too often. But that's just my method.
Yeah, storytelling is very important when it comes to stop motion videos, because like even if it has like really good animation, if the storytelling sucks, I don't think very many people are gonna sit through all of it.
Yeah. And it's also like it helps set you apart. It helps kind of make your brand if you're doing something different with your stories, or you're telling fun stories that people like to watch.
What do you think about Robert Downey Jr. being cast as Doctor Doom And do you think he'll be in a Iron Man variant? Sorry.
So I do expect him to be an Iron Man variant. I think they did say that he is playing Victor Von Doom, but I think they just said that. I'm expecting him to be just a evil Tony Stark, and I'm not too psyched about it. I kind of don't know why they did that. I'm a pretty big fan of the Fantastic Four, and so the fact that we're just not getting like actual Doctor Doom is pretty disappointing. I mean, if he is playing Victor Von Doom, it's just, I mean, whatever, I guess. Like I feel like they could have casted someone a little bit more exciting, but whatever. If he is playing Victor Von Doom, my one hope is that he'll keep the mask on, because like that mask is very important to Victor Von Doom, and I don't know how. Like I hope he'll take a page out of Ryan Reynolds' book and just keep his mask on, not be worried about his fame.
Because like Doctor Doom's face underneath the mask is all like it's got like pieces of metal, and it's like all like not really burned but scarred, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the whole thing is he's covering up his face because he doesn't like his face. It's he's scarred.
He's got that Darth Vader face.
Right.
Personally, I think he'll probably end up being an Iron Man variant in the end, like when Avengers Doomsday comes out. I think that's what it's called. Because the Russo brothers have been known for like stretching the truth before.
Right. And also given that it's the multiverse saga, I would assume that that's what this is going to be. But
yeah, with like Battle World and all that, there's going to be like multiple different Doctor Dooms. And think about like story-wise, like think about Tom Holland's Peter fighting against the Tony Stark Doctor Doom, and imagine the look on his face when the Doom mask is taken off during the fight and he sees
that's like
Tony Stark's face.
That's
right.
That's like kind of like the one thing I want them to do and one thing I don't want them to do, because I think
they will.
It'll kind of like ruin the whole thing, like Peter, like Spider-Man in this universe isn't meant to be like, he's missing Tony Stark, like he's his dad. He's meant to be missing him as a friend and a mentor. But people see it as like Iron Man is Spider-Man's dad in the universe for some reason, which I find pretty weird.
Yeah, I was never too keen on that either.
It's just I don't really know how to feel about it, because I feel like it's just, if it's not actually Victor Von Doom, if it's just an Iron Man variant, it's like we're probably not going to get another Doctor Doom, because how do you you can't really go up from Robert Downey Jr. It's like, but I mean, apparently the Fantastic Four are also from an alternate universe, so maybe we can get a Victor Von.
Like it is the multiverse saga, and I heard that they might be doing like a soft reboot of the MCU after Secret Wars and all that.
Ooh.
So you never know what could happen.
Yeah, that's probably entirely that's probably entirely possible. I wouldn't be too surprised.
Yeah.
What is your favorite comic book series?
So let's see. I'm pretty fond of Mark Waid's Fantastic Four run. I also really like the 90s Spider-Man run. I think it was being written by J. Michael Straczynski. I also really like Jeff Johns' New 52 Aquaman run, as well as the Rebirth Aquaman run, which I think Dan Abnett did. I also really like I think it just ended, but the current Doctor Strange run by Jed MacKay is really, really fun.
What's your favorite Spider-Man series, like out of all of them that have been over the years? What's your favorite one above all?
Okay, well, so Paradox is definitely like stands, like it's definitely really high up there, because that I remember I found his channel somewhere around I think he had just started his second season, so it would have been in that like Venom arc. But the one that I think is really underrated is a series by a YouTuber. I don't know how like well known it is, but it's by a YouTuber named Dark Spidey 34. it's pretty old. Like, it was being made in like 2008, 2009, and it went into like 2015. And there hasn't been a new episode in a really long time, but it's a really well done series. It's like really, I feel like it's really ahead of its time. Like, it's telling a really complex story, and it was like made in, like I said, like 2010 or 2011. So it's really, really good.
Wow. I'll have to check that out.
It's crazy. He made like an hour and a half long like movie in like 2012. Like, it was just, it's crazy. And it looks, I mean, the earlier stuff is kind of rough, like visually, but I mean, he has like 3 seasons, and it's all, you know, pretty well done.
Wow.
Who's your favorite Marvel character apart from Spider-Man?
Yeah, apart from Spider-Man, it's probably the Fantastic Four or Doctor Strange. Those recently, it's been more Doctor Strange. I really like Doc, and I really like it's hard to separate the four because I can't really pick a favorite out of them because they work so well as a team. But I guess if I had to pick one out of the four, it would be Johnny Storm.
I personally like The Thing, to be honest.
The Thing's also pretty good.
It's slobbering. I mean, clobbering time. In your latest Spider-Man video, is it hinted at that the Vulture died on the rooftop with Spider-Man?
Yeah, that's what I was wondering, because he said he had cancer.
Yes, he does have cancer, and he will die. He did not die then. I have one more appearance I know I want to do a Vulture. And I'll tell you this, I don't regret the decision to like, I guess, sort of pseudo kill Vulture off, but I will miss him because I actually really like Vulture. I don't like, I mean, he's definitely not like my favorite Spider-Man villain or anything, but I really, really like him just because I think the gimmick, because in his original appearances, he would just always like beat the hell out of Spider-Man. And I just think the gimmick of like a really old guy getting one over on Spider-Man, like a youthful, like young guy, it's just a really funny gimmick.
Yeah.
But Vulture, I guess the Vulture will return for sure in one other little project I have planned.
He won't be in the hospital bed, is he?
He might be. We'll have to wait and see.
What is your thoughts on the state of animated DC content right now?
I'd say it's kind of looking on. It's looking on the up and up. I would say I'm not. I mean, I don't think anyone's really too fond of like the Tomorrowverse stuff. I think Man of Tomorrow is just like the most bland, okay take on Superman. I think that the Long Halloween movies are pretty okay. I like them. I haven't read the comics, so I don't know. I don't know how it stacks up against the book. And then I don't think I've really. I watched the Justice Society movie, which was weird. I don't know how to feel about that one. And then I haven't bothered watching anything else. It's just boring. But I haven't seen My Adventures with Superman, but I hear a lot of other people like it. I'm a really big Superman fan, so I want to get to it eventually. But I'm also a big fan of the Cape Crusader show that just came out. I think that's a pretty nice show. So, and Creature Commandos is coming soon, and that looks pretty fun as well. So I think it's looking like it's going to be better.
I don't know why they made Penguin a woman though. Like I don't mind like the racial swap of Jim and Barbara, but like why did they make Penguin a woman though? Is the thing that just threw me off so much. Like they teased him in the trailer, and most people thought he was a man, and he was shaped like normal Penguin. But when the actual show comes out, it's a woman in his place.
Yeah, every once in a while there's like a change in that show that I just kind of question. Like, I don't really know why they changed Harley Quinn's like costume color to green and yellow. It's just like whatever, I guess. I guess it's your take.
Didn't they make her like Asian too?
Yeah, I don't even really mind what they did with Harley Quinn. I mean, it's definitely not it's not my preferred version of Harley Quinn, but
yeah,
it's a perfectly like fine take. But it's just I don't know, the costume is interesting.
Yeah.
From what I've read, apparently the version they did in Cape Crusader was what they wanted to do in the 90s, but because Fox said no, they had to do what they eventually did.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay.
Yeah, I never knew that one. All right, that's it for this episode. Be sure to comment, like, and subscribe. Next up on the show, we're either going to be interviewing Payday or Leo Lizard. That's kind of like up in the air right now, so stay tuned for that. And yeah, I hope you all enjoyed this one. Thank you for being on here, Gravity. It was definitely
thank you,
fun.
man. It was an honor.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's cool. Thanks for having me.
anytime. And yeah, have a marvelous day, everyone.
Bye, everyone.